Hello everyone and welcome to another tutorial. In this one we're gonna build a top navigation and also we're gonna build a hamburger menu for mobile devices. So let's start.
Go with Sloba.
Okay, so let's open up our navbar component and let's start coding. So in the components folder, let's open the navbar. Let's close the Explorer, and here let's remove this div as I want to have semantic tags. So let's add a nav element like this, and let's add some classes to this element. So first I want to change the color of the background. So let's add BG muted, the one that we have on the sidebar as well. Let's add some padding on the top and on the bottom as 4, and let's add on mobile devices padding for left and right as 4. Starting from small resolution, or for tablets we want to increase the padding to 16. And on the large devices, we want to set padding left and right to be 24. For the actual display, we want to set it to flex because we're going to have 3 elements inside of this navigation, and the easiest way to set up this layout is using the flex. So let's center them using the items-center, and let's add a class of justify between because we want to have the menu on the left side and the actual user and the toggle button on the right side. Now below this, let's add a div, and inside of this div we're going to have a links drop down. So let's make sure to import this one, links drop down, and we're going to implement this component later on. Below this, as I said, we're going to have a div, and this div is going to go on the right side, and inside of this div we're going to have theme toggle and a user button. So let's add a class here, let's add a class name, and this is also going to be a flex, and we want to center this item, so items-center, and let's just add some gap in between, so a gap -x, and let's add 4, which essentially is 16 pixels. Yes. And now inside of this div, let's add theme toggle. We're going to implement this component also later, and the new component that we didn't use is a user button from clerk. And this is a very interesting component. So let me save this and let's head over to our browser to see what this component does for us. Drop down here, we have this theme toggle. These are all just text, and we're going to implement this later. But also we have this user icon. So with just one component, we actually have this entire component. And if you click on this component, you can see that we have this pop-up menu where we have the username, we have this image, we have what is the email, we can also sign out, and we can also manage the account. So if you click on manage account, we get this entire pop-up where you can go and update this profile. So you can add more email addresses. You can see that what are connected Google accounts, you can remove them, and you can also upload new image or just remove one that you already have. So with just one component, so you get all this functionality, and this is being provided by Clerk. So very interesting and also very powerful. Now let's go and proceed with implementing this links dropdown, and we're actually going to be using a drop-down menu from Nextjs. So let's first install that component and then we're going to implement it. So in our VS Code, let's open the terminal and let's install this package. So I'm going to open a new terminal. So because in the first one I have application running, and here let's install this package. So let's run the following command: npx shed cn-ui, and we want to target the latest version, and we want to add drop-down -menu like this. Hit enter, and this should add a new component to our components UI library. Let's wait for a couple of seconds, and after this gets completed, inside of the UI folder, we're going to get a new component, which is called drop-down menu, as you can see here. Nice. Now I can close this terminal and let's go and implement this. So let's close this drop-down menu, and inside of this links drop-down, let's open this component and we can implement this. Here I can remove this div, and the root component is called as drop-down menu like this, and make sure to import this from the components, not from this. So let's add @components/UI, and then we have this drop-down menu like this. And inside of this drop-down menu, this is a component, as I said, from Nextjs. We have a trigger component, which essentially is just a trigger to open your menu, and we're gonna place the icon over there. So let's add drop-down menu trigger, and you can find this from the autocomplete menu trigger. And here I want to add an attribute of schild, and I want to add a class name of LG hidden, because as I said, this is going to be only visible on mobile devices. On large screens, we want to hide this. So this is why we set LG hidden. Now, instead of this menu trigger, I want to add a button like this, and make sure to import this button. So let's import it. And here inside of this button, we want to add variant, and let's make this one as outline like this. And let's add the size of it, because we're just going to have the icon. We can set the size to have icon like this. And the icon itself is going to be aligned left from Lucid React. And just to comply with the screen readers, let's add a new span. This span is not going to be visible, but we want to add this for, as I said, for screen readers. So let's add a text of toggle links, and let's add a class name that says screen readers only, like this. Now below this menu trigger, we want to render the actual content of our dropdown. So let's call dropdown menu content component, and inside of this component, let's add some class names. So first, I want to set the width to be 52, which essentially gets rendered to 208 pixels. And also similar to trigger, I want to hide this on large screens. So let's add a hidden class. And inside of this menu, we're just gonna loop through our links and display obviously links. But before that, let's add some more properties. Let's add a line property that we have on this drop down menu, and we can set this align to start, and also we can set some offset so it's actually not that close to the trigger. So let's set side offset to 25 like this. And now inside of this, let's open the expression, and now we need to access the links from utils links, and we just want to map through this array. So here inside of this array, we can access the link, and then we just want to render a link. And make sure to import the link from next/link like this. And here first we need to provide what is the key. The key can be link.href. And also we need to provide what is the href or the actual link value. And we can just access link.href. And inside of our array, we want to render another component from the chat.cn, and it is called dropdown menu item like this. So make sure to import it, and we need to provide what is the key. A key can be link.href, and inside of this dropdown item, we want to render links. So let's import the link from next link, and the link requires href. So we want to access the link and href. And inside of our link, this is something similar that we have done on the sidebar. We want to render link.icon, and also we want to add a span, which we want to capitalize. So let's add a class name with capitalized class. And inside of this, we just want to access the link.label like this. And this is all essentially. So now let's save this and let's head over to our browser. And as you can see, we have an error. So let's head over to our application. I think that we have a wrong import. So if we go and check in the drop-down menu trigger, we are actually not importing from the components folder. So let's make sure that we are importing that, and we can remove this import. So now let's save this. And if we go back to our application, we can see that we don't have any errors. And now obviously on the desktop resolution, we cannot see any menus here. But if we lower the resolution, we can see that we get this new hamburger menu. And if you click on it, we get all the links that we have. But also, as you can see, this is not the nicest UI layout that we can have. So let's head over to our component and let's add a couple of classes. So here on our link, I want to add a class name, and let's add a class name. And here, let's add a flex and items-center. And let's add a gap in between the icon and the text. So gap-x-2 like this. So now this should fix it. Let's save this and let's see what we have now. And now if you lower the resolution, once again, we get our hamburger menu. And if you click on this, we can see that this layout is now exactly how we want it. And this is all for this tutorial. In the next one, we're going to proceed with implementing the components. And the next one is going to be theme toggle. See you in the next one. And if you want to support my channel and get a full source code of every single video that I'm doing, feel free to check out patreon.com/codewithsloba to get full access. See you there.
Code with Sloba.
Thank you for watching the entire video. To see more videos like this, click here.